Good evening. I'm Matt Gutman in for Tony DeCopel. Chilling new video tonight of that deadly mass shooting at an In-N-Out in Idaho. The 24-year-old gunman firing through the drive-through window, calmly targeting victims at point-blank range. Terrified workers scrambling for cover. The heroes who stopped the rampage. Todd Blanche, President Trump's former defense attorney, now set to become the nation's top law enforcement official. The emotional announcement from the lawmaker who has clashed with the president.
I'll be criticized for this vote. What's new?
Crisis in Puerto Rico. No running water for many in the U.S. territory. Thousands being forced to ration amid a severe drought and infrastructure issues. Our team on the ground tonight. The drastic measures and millions of dollars it's taking to save one of America's favorite vacation spots. The Texas moms suing to keep the 10 Commandments out of classrooms.
From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News with Tony DeCopel.
We begin tonight with the just-released details and video of that mass shooting at an In-N-Out restaurant in Twin Falls, Idaho. Last weekend, 3 people were killed, 7 wounded. Police releasing surveillance and body camera footage of the shooter selecting his targets. And perhaps most chilling, how calmly the gunman chooses his targets and fires. You can see right there, he doesn't run but walks unhurried, even as a former police officer fires back. We should warn you, the video is disturbing. Here's Carter Evans with the details.
For the first time, we're seeing the sheer horror as In-N-Out employees scramble for cover while a gunman in Twin Falls, Idaho methodically hunts down victims.
What happened here was violent, frightening, and deeply traumatic.
The chilling surveillance video starts with 24-year-old Chad Williams in this white Honda shooting into the drive-through window, killing an employee, then calmly walking to the next car and killing the driver. A former police officer who runs to confront the gunman is also shot and wounded. The killer then returns to the drive-thru and fires, but his handgun jams. While inside, an off-duty state trooper gets employees to safety and searches for the gunman, who returns with a rifle, opens fire, and shoots a Good Samaritan trying to help a victim inside. As the gunman expands his search for even more victims, he shoots 3 people in cars at a stoplight. Cell phone video then shows bystander Jordan Salinas firing back at the gunman, who then runs to a Tesla charging station and shoots 3 more people in their cars, killing 1. After turning his sights to a nearby visitor center, a 17-year-old employee outside distracts the shooter while others escape. The gunman fired at him, but missed.
To that young man, you are a hero. Your selflessness in that moment likely gave others the time they needed to escape harm.
When police arrived, they quickly tracked down the gunman hiding nearby.
Hey, show me your hands!
The video freezes as he takes his own life. Police say 10 people were shot that day. 3 of them died. There's still no motive for the rampage, but Matt, that In-N-Out location reopens today.
Carter, thank you. Tonight, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche appears likely to squeak by his Senate confirmation. Blanche, the veteran of the president's personal legal battles, faced a bruising nomination process for Attorney General, including headwind from 2 Republican senators. But today, he got a key Senate endorsement from a critic of the president. Here's Ed O'Keefe.
Louisiana Republican Senator Bill Cassidy could have blocked Todd Blanche from serving as the next Attorney General. The senator made his concerns well known, publicly criticizing the Justice Department under Blanche's leadership for prosecuting President Trump's political enemies.
Over the last several days,
but today, he reluctantly got on board.
Mr. Blanche is not perfect, and he will tell you this. But the choice is not between perfection and Mr. Blanche.
GOP Senators Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski had already said they'd vote against Blanche amid concerns with the politicization of the Justice Department. And with Kentucky's Mitch McConnell absent due to prolonged medical issues, Cassidy was the last remaining holdout. He was also the key vote to confirming Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Secretary of Health and Human Services, despite misgivings about him, too. Cassidy then lost his primary in May as the president backed the senator's challenger, payback for his vote to convict Trump of impeachment after the January 6th insurrection.
You think that I'm going to support somebody that voted to impeach me?
Ever since losing, Cassidy's faced mounting pressure from all sides to stand with or against the president, pressure that appeared to catch up to him today.
I'll be criticized for this vote. What's new?
Cassidy paused to gather his emotions.
But the people of Louisiana can be assured that I worked hard to understand the issue and to make the right decision.
Meanwhile, here at the White House, the president is again trying to fire Federal Reserve Board Governor Lisa Cook. Despite the Supreme Court ruling, he can't do so without cause. In a letter sent to Cook, the White House says it's considering firing her for what are unproven allegations of mortgage fraud and gave her 3 weeks to respond. Matt?
All right, Ed, while we have you, earlier today, a federal appeals court ruled that the president cannot continue building his planned ballroom. So, Ed, is this a speed bump for the president's cherished project, or are we talking about a roadblock here?
Well, the president's hoping it's just a speed bump. The ruling halts construction of the above-ground portion of the 90,000-square-foot project. The three-judge panel agreed with a lower court. The president very likely lacks authority to demolish and rebuild the East Wing. They said work on new underground military bunkers and offices can continue. The president says he'll appeal what he called an unjust decision to the Supreme Court, saying the new construction is vital to national security. Matt?
Okay, Ed O'Keefe, thank you. The government released a dismal jobs report today. The U.S. economy unexpectedly lost 23,000 jobs last month, but the unemployment rate actually dropped to 4.1%. And that's not because companies are hiring more, but because hundreds of thousands of discouraged workers left the labor force. So let's bring in Money Watch correspondent, CBS Saturday morning co-anchor Kelly O'Grady. Kelly, help break this down for us.
So I want to emphasize 1 month, one data point. It does not mean a trend, but this certainly wasn't the resilient labor market picture we wanted to see. We saw significant losses in a number of sectors: finance, retail, government, leisure, and hospitality was a big one. But there were also some bright spots: healthcare, manufacturing, construction. Those are high-paying areas that we do want to see additions. I really like that you underlined that 4.1%. It didn't go down for the right reason. It's because we have seen the lowest labor participation rate in over 5 years. So yes, this could be an anomaly, but it's not the resilient picture that we've been seeing.
We saw two trends today: a weakening jobs market, but a strengthening market. Most of the major indices were up today. What are investors saying that we're not?
Well, it is the classic bad news for the jobs report is good news for interest rates and Wall Street. Okay, we have been talking about a possible September rate hike with rising inflation. You cannot hike rates if you have a weakening labor market. You're just going to make things worse. Let's put an asterisk, though. Next week we get inflation data. If we have high inflation and slowing job growth, you're going to have the dreaded word stagflation being thrown out. That's not where we want to be, Matt.
Kelly, thank you, breaking it all down for us. It's a stormy night for nearly 125 million people in the Northeast. Major problems today at the New York City airports, and across the country, more than 8,000 flights have been disrupted so far. In the West, more than 80 million people are sizzling in extreme heat. Meteorologist Rob Marciano tracking it all for us. Rob.
Hey, good evening, Matt. Well, New York Metro is currently in the midst of a severe thunderstorm. The entire area really getting pelted with these 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds. You can see the rain here just northeast of the city is blowing sideways. This is a line, really, that stretches all the way down across New Jersey, across to Delaware, and into Baltimore. And some of these could certainly take down some trees and some power lines as it pushes off towards the east. Severe thunderstorm watch here in effect till 10 o'clock, and another couple in Iowa and the UP of Michigan, same deal. So a couple of disturbances that will propagate off to the east, and more storms expected to bubble up during the day tomorrow with this humidity. All right, as far as the heat is concerned, extreme heat warnings in the southwest, triple-digit stuff there with heat advisories as far north as Seattle again. Front coming through there will kick up the winds, but the big story is really going to be the triple-digit heat in Vegas, Phoenix, Denver, and Salt Lake City. We could see more records fall tomorrow, and it will be hot, not record-breaking here this weekend, but enough to bubble up more storms in this humidity tomorrow. Matt?
Rob Marciano braving that storm for us. Thank you. To the Outer Banks of North Carolina now, where erosion and rising sea levels have caused dozens of homes to be swallowed by the Atlantic Ocean in recent years. Our Skylar Henry reports from the communities that are scrambling to protect the shoreline before it washes away.
I see this thing pumping. That's all sand behind us.
Correct.
In Buxton, North Carolina, it's go time for Dare County manager Bobby Outen and his crew. With relatively calm storm forecasts, now is their chance to rebuild the beach.
We have a huge economy that we need to protect, and the only reason anybody comes to Dare County is to either fish, buy a boat, or go to the beach.
They're taking offshore sand from the ocean bottom and pumping it onto a 3-mile stretch of badly weathered and eroding beaches, eventually 2 million cubic yards of it.
What's happening here?
So we're building a beach. Our beaches and our dunes are our levee system. That's what keeps the water out.
When we came to Buxton last fall, we watched alongside others on this very beach as hurricane flooding and powerful tides pummeled the coastline and swept homes into the Atlantic.
This is where we were standing just last year. Ocean waves were crashing easily 70 to 100 yards inland, and homes were slamming into the Atlantic. Residents hope this new project saves this area and protects any sort of future developments from new storms.
The shoreline will be widened up to 75 feet in certain stretches and will create a buffer for roads and surrounding homes. This is the area's third go at a beach nourishment project. It's also the most expensive for county taxpayers at $50 million.
If you allow the ocean to continue to erode, it takes out the highway, it takes out the power lines, the water lines, the internet, all the things that you take for granted.
This work won't last forever. In about 5 years, crews will have to come back and do it again. A temporary Band-Aid on a never-ending cycle.
That's Skylar Henry reporting. Overseas now to Thailand in a horrific mass shooting carried out today by a 14-year-old boy. Police say he lived with his grandparents and that first he killed them using his grandfather's gun, then went to his high school, killed at least 5 teachers and staffers, and wounded more than 20 others before turning the gun on himself. An historic water crisis is unfolding right now in Puerto Rico. Facing the worst drought in decades, the island has begun rationing running water to 180,000 customers. Our Lilia Luciano reports tonight from San Juan.
Tonight, families across Puerto Rico are stocking up on water, filling jugs, buckets, anything they can from distribution centers as a massive new rationing plan takes effect. More than 180,000 customers will go without running water for at least 48 hours at a time with no clear end in sight.
How long have you been dealing with these shortages?
No, 4 or 5 meses.
4 or 5 months.
86-year-old Guadalupe Maximiliano tells us he relies on this water tank just to get through the day.
Yo me siento mal.
I feel terrible, he tells us, and he blames the government for poor management. Fueling it all is a punishing drought. San Juan just recorded its driest July in more than 120 years. But the drought is just the tip of the iceberg. An underfunded, mismanaged, aging water system has already left tens of thousands dealing with shortages for more than 3 months. All while Puerto Ricans continue to grapple with years of rolling power outages across the island. The frustration is spilling into the streets. The governor did nothing, she says. Luis Reinaldo Gonzalez is the executive president of Puerto Rico's Water and Sewer Authority, PRASA.
Our purpose is to give water to the people. Never is a rationing purposely. It's because our reservoir is going low and we need to protect the reservoir.
And how long will these 48 to 72 hour rationings last?
Well, it depends. We need rain.
Authorities, as you heard, continue to blame these shortages on the lack of rain. But experts have shown that more than half of Puerto Rico's water supply is lost through a broken infrastructure. And just to show you, the result is this. This reservoir is supposed to be the most important, the main supply of drinking water for San Juan. And just look at this dock. The water mat should be way up there.
Shocking images of those dry lake beds. Lilia, thank you. Coming up, the new school year is about to begin in Texas with a controversy. Cell phones are out. The 10 Commandments are in every classroom. How the nation's most closely watched church versus state battle is playing out. As the public school year begins next week in Texas, one of the nation's most closely watched church-state battles is at a turning point. For now, Texas, like 3 other states, has the court-protected right to post the 10 Commandments in classrooms. But as CBS News correspondent Jason Allen tells us, the fight is far from over.
Everybody take out 5 cards.
The lessons Audrey Nath and Emily Roth are teaching their young children don't include 10 religious laws taught in the Bible.
My kids are young and they don't have the concept of murder and
adultery
and servitude.
Texas passed Senate Bill 10 last year, which requires public schools to display the Ten Commandments in all classrooms. A federal lawsuit challenging the bill failed, so now Nathan Roth, along with a third Houston area mom, are suing under state laws, alleging it violates the Texas Religious Freedom Restoration Act and the recently passed Parental Rights Amendment, championed by conservatives.
This is presenting the beliefs of one religion as rules on the wall, and I think that implies that any kids who believe something different are following the right thing at school.
There can be a place for religion in school if it is being taught in a historical context with other religions.
Supporters of the law, including Texas Attorney General and Senate candidate Ken Paxton, argue biblical texts are an important part of the country's heritage and history and should be taught.
Parental rights are fundamental, but they're not a license for one family to rewrite that for every child in Texas and what they learn in public schools.
3 other states currently require the Ten Commandments to be displayed. More than a dozen others have proposed similar legislation.
Do you see this as opening the door to more religious instruction in schools? Are you afraid of that?
Oh, I feel like the door is wide open. I feel like Texas is being a test case right now, and I don't want my kids to be the guinea pigs.
A judge in Houston denied a temporary restraining order today in that new case. So when schools open next week, most classrooms will have the Ten Commandments on the wall, but some still won't. Here in Arlington, they're waiting for the Supreme Court to weigh in. An attorney who was representing 15 families challenging the law told us that they plan to appeal to the Supreme Court within weeks. Matt?
And we'll be watching. Thank you, Jason Allen. Up next, that earthquake in Japan last week struck in the middle of this surgery. What happened next? A terrifying moment during that earthquake in Japan last week. The quake rattles the OR medical staff in the middle of a surgery. Carts and gurneys swirling around the room. Staffers slammed to the ground. Then 2 people throwing themselves over the patient. The surgery, incredibly, was completed successfully. Still ahead, On the Road with Steve Hartman and the story of how a duck helped a dog retrieve her happiness. It's CBS Evening News for this Friday. I'm Matt Gutman. Tony DeCopa will be right back here on Monday. Good night and have a great weekend.